definitely heard of Hugging Face. They're the company that basically became the central hub for AI language models. Well, now they're setting their sights on the physical world. Their co-founder, Thomas Wolfe, is leading this incredibly ambitious plan to kickstart a revolution in robotics. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how they're planning to pull it off. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with why this is all happening right now. Then, we'll get into how Hugging Face is dusting off its old open source playbook to create what's essentially an app store for robots. After that, we'll tackle the huge data problem that's standing in the way. And finally, we'll dream a little about the kind of future this could all lead to. So first things first, why now? What makes this the exact moment for an explosion in robotics? Well, this whole thing really kicked off about 18 months ago. That's when Thomas Wolfe just felt this shift in the air. He started seeing these mind-blowing videos pop up from university labs. You know, robots tying knots, folding laundry, even cooking. And he got that feeling, that spidey sense, that this was just like the very beginning of the big AI language boom. And here's the crucial thing to understand. The physical parts of robots, the arms, the grippers, the motors, they've been pretty capable for a long time. The real holdup? It was their brain. The software just wasn't flexible enough to deal with the messy, unpredictable real world. And that's what's finally changed. These incredible breakthroughs we're seeing in AI are at last providing that missing software layer. We can now build smart, adaptable brains that can actually make full use of the amazing hardware that's just been waiting around. So what's their grand strategy to make this happen? Well, they're not reinventing the wheel. They're using a playbook that has already been massively successful for them, the open source model. This table really nails the shift they're trying to force. I mean, the old way of doing robotics was walled off, super expensive, and basically just for a handful of experts. Hugging Face wants to completely tear that down and build this wide open platform where any developer, anywhere can jump in and contribute. And their ambition here is honestly staggering. They want to do for robotics what they already did for language models, give the 200 million software developers around the world the tools they need to start building things in the physical world. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but what does this new open ecosystem for robots actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Right at the heart of it all is a project they've dubbed Lay Robot. You can think of it as the ultimate open source toolbox. It's designed to be this central hub that has absolutely everything a developer needs to get started. And the way it works is by taking this ridiculously complex field and boiling it down to 3 simple, easy-to-grasp building blocks. You've got the models, that's the brains. You've got the datasets, that's the life experience. And you've got the hardware, that's the physical body. But they figured out pretty quickly that even with the best software on the planet, robotics would stay a tiny niche hobby if people couldn't actually afford the robots themselves. So to really make this for everyone, they had to go after the sky-high cost of hardware. $100. Just let that sink in. That's the price they're aiming for with their S100 robotic arm. It's such a radical drop in cost that it completely changes the game, turning what was once expensive industrial gear into something any student or startup can get their hands on. And all of this is building toward the ultimate dream, an app store for robots. The whole idea is to have a platform where a robot's skills aren't fixed. Instead, a whole global community can constantly create and share new behaviors, just like apps, endlessly leveling up what the hardware can do. But there is one absolutely massive challenge that could stop this entire vision in its tracks. And it's all about data. This right here is the trillion-dollar question for the entire field of robotics. Where in the world do you get enough training data to make these robots truly smart? You see, language models had this huge, unfair advantage. They could slurp up the entire internet to learn. Robotics has nothing like that. A robot you train perfectly in your lab might completely fail in the room next door just because the lighting is a bit different. It just can't generalize from these small, sterile datasets. So, their solution is actually brilliant. They're turning this weakness into a strength. By making the hardware cheap and the software open, they can get a global community to solve the problem for them. The plan is to get thousands of people to record their robots doing tasks in thousands of different homes, kitchens, and workshops, and then pool all of that data together. This creates one massive, multicolored dataset that's diverse enough to train robots that can actually adapt to the real world. Okay, so let's zoom out for the finale. If all of this works, if they pull it off, what kind of world is this new approach to robotics actually going to build? Well, there's a huge debate in the field right now. Is the future going to be dominated by these super expensive, do-it-all humanoid robots that cost as much as a car? Or are we going to see a whole galaxy of different, specialized, affordable robots for all kinds of different jobs? Hugging Face is betting big on the second option. And this really gets to the heart of their philosophy. Thomas Wolfe has been super clear that he doesn't want a future where robots are just another luxury toy for the rich. The whole point is to make this technology useful and available to absolutely everyone. And when you really get down to it, this is about way more than just robots. It's about changing our entire relationship with technology. The goal is to spark a whole new generation of creators, to empower people to build and invent and play with AI in the real world, not just be passive consumers. So the biggest takeaway is this. By making the tools of creation radically accessible, we could be standing on the brink of an incredible wave of innovation coming from every corner of the globe. And that really leaves us with one final question to chew on. If you had a cheap, easy-to-program robot sitting on your desk right now, what amazing new thing would you teach it to do?